way. Look at there, y'all. All right, not much light. Let's see if it'll work this time. Woo, yes, a lot better. All right, y'all, look at there. That's how you get a siphon to work. There it is. No air, just get it started. When it gets started, don't let it stop. Woohoo! Well, that'll take it off of you. So let me let you in on a secret of YouTube. When you hit that subscribe button, it is absolutely free to use, but it immensely blesses me. All right, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of RevStoration. And yeah, we're gonna be taking Puddin another step further today. We've got a lot of plans of what we're wanting to do, and I wanna share with you really some of the plans of what we're planning on doing with the outside of Puddin. And maybe in the future, we'll talk about some of the things we're gonna do in the interior. But we welcome you today. We're looking forward to a fun episode. Hopefully it'll be one that you enjoy. I do wanna say this to you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it would be an extremely a blessing to us if you would sub. We have a lot of people that are watching. I think right now, 75% of the people that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. Listen, subs are free. You can click it and it costs you absolutely nothing. So if you would like to, if you don't mind it, boy, we would be honored in doing that. Now, I want to share with you some of the things that we're going to be doing with old Puddin. I want to turn you around and show you some of the issues that Puddin has. Yep, do you see that? Oh man, that's a vent hole. There's a vent hole. Let's come over here. Yep, vent hole. We can open the door. There's a vent hole in there. Now the bed is pretty much solid on the outside. Don't have any vent holes that have worked their way out because there have been vent holes that have worked themselves out in here. Yeah, I need to clean out the bed again. Got a pretty major vent hole there, and one there, and another one there. Got a little issue in the front that we're going to try to take care of. Maybe not in this episode. So here's the plan. What I want to do, at least in one of these holes, and then we'll show you what it looks like when we get all of them done. We're going to try to repair. We are going to repair these holes with no welder. Yeah, I know the right way to do it is what? The right way to do it is cut it out, weld in new metal, then do the body filler and everything, paint it, and be ready to go. But guess what? Look at Puddin. I mean, Puddin is going to be a Patina truck. It is going to be a channel truck, not a shop truck. It's going to be a RevStoration channel truck. I've got some cool plans of what I'm wanting to do on this door here, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. I know I'm going to enjoy it. But we want to get these vent holes clogged up, but we don't want to make it look like it's a brand new fix. We don't want to make it look like it's perfect. We don't want to make it look like it wasn't there. So what we're going to do is we're going to repair the hole with some awesome stuff, and we're going to come back with a little bit of paint, a little bit of color, and we're going to try to keep the patina in those spots. We don't want it to be naturally shown that there has been a repair there. We want to make it look old, but just not have a hole. We don't want a hole in it. So this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going to turn here. All right, this here is a cutting wheel. Yeah, there's some spots we're going to have to cut some rust out. I don't know if I'll use these cutting wheels or not. I know this paint remover that'll go on the angle grinder, we'll use that and grind away some of the paint, some of the rust. We're going to do some rust reformer. I'm going to spray inside and try to stop the rust from the inside after I vacuum it all out. Then, yep, look at here, fiberglass cloth. We're going to fiberglass it with resin first and kind of get this in as a good strong backing. Come in with a fiberglass filler. We're going to do the fiberglass filler. It's reinforced. We'll sand it down, get it pretty well. come back with this body filler here, which is just regular Bondo body filler. We're gonna come in with a little bit of primer. Let's do it this way. We're gonna come in with a little bit of this primer, and then I'm gonna go primer and a little bit of this brown. I'm gonna go in with some dark brown over it too. Why? Dark brown, black, dark brown. We're gonna try to give it a patina look, and then come in with a flat black over top, and then we're gonna sand it down after we do that, and hopefully give it this patinaed look, kind of like this. No rust holes, but we'll give it that patinaed look is the plan. So let's get started. All right, now as we're working on this hole here, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that you get all of the loose, and I don't know what that is, but you just want to make sure that you get all the loose rust and everything out from behind, because when you get all of it out, it's going to give you a better opportunity to have something that'll seal. Now all that is not supposed to be there. You see that? So we're gonna get all of that out. So now after we get that, we wanna bend most of this back. Now, some people would say you shouldn't bend this back. They're probably right. Some of it that's breaking off, flaking off, I'm actually gonna use those rough edges right there. I'm gonna use those edges as I bend this in and sand some of that out. I'm gonna use those edges to hold the fiberglass. So that's part of the process ish. Now that we've got this, we want to grind off some of the rust and some of the paint. Now I had to remove the safety guard because safety is really not it is important, but I moved it off because it wouldn't work with the safety guard on it. So of course, and it also does not work when it's not plugged in. So we're going to get some power to this drill, and we're going to try to get some of this rust and paint just off this small area here. We don't want to mess up too much of the paint, patina, let me say that, on the rest of the truck. Woohoo! Well, that'll take it off of you. All right, y'all, it is important to use safety. Boy, the bottom of that not only takes paint off, but it'll take the top layer of your skin off. So I'm gonna go get this fixed up, and I'll show you this in just a second. All right, how do you fix up injuries when you're outside working? You get a shop towel and you get some green frog painter's tape and you wrap it up around it. I won't bleed on Ole Puddin now. So let me bring you over here and I'm gonna show you. All right, let's look at here. All right, that is what Ole Puddin looks like now. Got a little bit of good metal here. I may have to do a little bit of breaking off there. I may have to even cut this area here off because it's coming out. So I may cut this right through here. I may chip some of this off, but then I'm gonna paint all of this. I'm gonna paint it with a rust stop and try to get as much of that rust stopped as I can. Now, as you have noticed, because I like to keep my right index finger, I have put the guard back on because it'll fit with this cutting wheel. We're going to take a cutting wheel and cut just a little bit of this metal off, maybe shave up a few of these edges here just to shape it up a little bit. All right, now that we have that somewhat cleaned up, what I'm gonna do is take some of the rust stop paint and get as much of it in there as I can, because we're hopefully gonna seal all of this up when we put the fiberglass on. I know there's a lot of different kinds. I'm using Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer. It says it instantly converts rust to a protective paintable surface. So what I'm gonna do is hit all of this, not try to cover all of this, just this area here, because I'm not really worried about too much rust in this area. So we're gonna let that dry just for a minute. We're gonna come in, probably sand on it a little bit, because we wanna make sure we have a good surface for our resin and fiberglass to stick to. Right, earlier I was telling you, being a smart aleck, that I had to remove this and saying that you don't need to really worry about it because safety is not important. And then in the clip you saw a few minutes ago, my finger barely touched the bottom of this, and for the next time, the next little bit that I was sanding on this, it felt like my finger was about to fall off. So safety is important. So even though I'm not using a guard, I'm going to be very careful not to knock any of my digits off. That's important. All right, now here's my clean, very clean workspace. So the first thing you want to do is mix up a little bit of the resin. Now I'm just doing a small spot, so I'm not going to have a lot of resin. I'm not going to make a lot. But here it is, Bondo fiberglass resin. Of course, you just open it up. All the wind is blowing. I hope this doesn't go all the way through it. That's too much, which is probably about right. And then what I want to do is this two part. So then I have this, which is a liquid hardener. See, that will remain that consistency until I put the hardener on it. So what I'm going to do is take this hardener, put a few drops in here. I'm going to stir it up with my trusty 77-cent paintbrush, and then I'm going to dab a little bit on here, put this fiberglass, put this patch on here and start to working it in, and this will get hard, and that will give me something to work against with the filler against all of this, since I don't have a welder. Remember, no welder, no problem. No finger, problem. So now I'm getting ready to put a few drops of hardener in, and as always, it does not have a hole in it. Nope. So then I have to get my knife out, persuade it. All right, it's got a little hole in it. A few drops of hardener. Does not need much. This should be enough for the whole kit and caboodle. A little bit of hardener, hopefully it'll be enough. I'm gonna begin to feel the consistency harden. There's gonna be a chemical reaction. That chemical reaction will heat up. Maybe it needs a little bit more. Oh, I'm seeing it bubble. Maybe it doesn't need a little bit more. Not getting warm, so let's hit it with a tad bit more. Tad bit more. There's probably some science that tells you how much of that to use. I don't know much about science, so I'm going to use about that much. All right. The less hardener you use, the more time you've got. So I'm gonna little dab all in here. Little dab, little dab, little dab. We'll do that, and then I'll be ready to maneuver. To maneuver this in here. Start there. All right, let's hit that. There. All right, let's get stick there. All right, stick on there. Is there enough hardener on it? We'll all wait and find out together. There's that. So, all right, let's let it harden. I'm gonna go cut a little bit more and maybe work some in down here. That'll give me something to work with, something to sand on, and then after we get it good and solid, we'll be able to come in with filler, paint it. So that's the process. I'm gonna go get a little bit more for down here. Oh yeah, by the way, I probably should be using gloves. I would advise that. I'm not, because I don't mind living dangerously. Until my finger falls off, because I was living dangerously. All right. There. A little bit on the bottom. All right, it has been 4 hours and 38 minutes. Not really. It's been a couple hours. I've actually put another little spot on the bottom here, and it is good and hard and solid now. Gives me a good backing that I can now put filler on. So what I'm gonna do is I got an 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm gonna try to sand all of the edges, and then that'll give me something to put the filler on. But the only issue I have is making sure this body line here will continue straight across. I cut it a little bit too close there, but I still got enough solid to work with. So now what I'm gonna go do is go get the fiberglass filler. I'm gonna mix it up, and then that will fill in this hole here, all of this area, and that, and then we'll get to start really working in the body line. With the Bondo glass here, this is also a two-part. So you have your cream hardener, and then this is just the fiberglass itself. This is the hardener. I always run one solid bead right across this, whatever it is. I'll show you that in just a second. I'm using the top of a plastic lid, and the reason I do this is because the plastic bends and moves, so when whatever remaining hardens, I'll be able to pop it off, and this lid will still be fine. So there won't be any problem with this. The good part of having an eBay business is I got a lot of these laying around. So I'm gonna run a bead with this hardener right across the top. And then now what you have to do, you don't have long on this because it hardens. So I'm gonna mix it, and then when I mix it, I'm gonna put it on the truck, and as it hardens, it's gonna be ready to go. So I'm gonna cut this off, get this hardener good and mixed up. It's gonna turn to a different color, and as it does that, it'll be hardening and ready to go. So I'm gonna get on the other camera and get ready to spread this on the truck. Now as I'm getting this Bondo good and mixed up, and this is fiberglass filler, so it's going to harden. It's kind of going to be a consistent brown, and when it gets ready to spread, it's already got fiberglass shards in it. So I'm gonna get this good and see, it's kind of this consistency color there. I don't know what you call that, kind of a baby nasty green. And we're just gonna spread it across just like that. Cut it off, spread it across. Bottom will work your way up, and then go on like that. Let's work it. Oh, might be blocking you. But you don't want to put a bunch, which I have enough left over to probably do 15 holes in the truck. Bottom, run it to the top. That top hole is pretty thick, so let's go here. You have to do a few of these, but I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. It's had time to dry, so I'm gonna try to knock some of these pieces off, sand this down, get these edges kind of smoothed out, come back in with body filler. the things that I can still see, I'll take and rub this. Still got a little low area here that I'm gonna have to work out. And it's, I mean, it's not very low, but I am gonna have to work that out with body filler. But I think I got a good solid foundation to be able to work with the body filler and come out with it. All of these edges that I can feel, of course, I'm gonna have to sand down. So that's really important. Right, the body filler starts out this gray, light gray color. So of course we want to put a little bit of it down. That is probably enough there. All right, enough of that. Once again, you get your hardener. Your hardener is cream hardener. That one was in there. All right, what? Oh, we'll get out of there, napkin. All right, got some there, but just put a bead across. Since I already have this little bit here, we'll use that as well. So now we just mix this up. This mixes to a kind of a darker consistency, and it'll start to harden, and this lays out a lot smoother than the other fiberglass. So I'm gonna get it mixed up. We'll go to the other camera and I'll show you at the spot we're working on. Body filler mixed up. You see the consistency of the body filler. We're ready to put it on right now. Filler. How much smoother it lays on. Goes on pretty smooth and it comes off pretty smooth. Got enough there. We want to work that body line. We're going to call that what are we gonna call it? We call that good, y'all? What do you think? Rev says yep. Alright, we're gonna call that good. We're gonna let it dry. Here we are back. This filler has dried. Of course, this is the first coat. I probably will have to go on with another coat. But we're gonna rough sand this. All right, I still got a little ways to go, but I'm gonna keep sanding on this, and hopefully we'll be finished in a second. Getting that body line, that one body line edge there, probably not gonna be perfect because I got a little dimple there, but I'm thinking that will actually fit in perfectly well. Of course, I'm rubbing my hand across it, feeling the high spots. Then I'm going to hit some black primer on it, and we'll really be able to find where the high spots and low spots are. All right, now we're doing the Sandable Primer. Pick it up really well. Yeah, I know there's dust on it. I know I have not cleaned it. We're gonna be doing a lot of sanding. And remember, look at this, look at this, we're not worried. We'll do more lighter coats than those. What I'm doing now is just a very light coat, and I'm gonna let it dry. Now, of course, in real life, we probably would not be doing this. We'll be using a whole lot higher than a 120, but remember, I'm going to be patinaing all this up to make it look right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to lightly sand, and I believe there's still some high spots. The high spots, of course, will come out, and the low spots will show. You see? That is still high. Too bad. Not too bad at all. All right. Oh, just knocking down a few of the spots. All right, folks. I think, even though that is still dusty, we're gonna hit that with some primer, and then we're gonna hit it with some different colors, and that's ready. No more hole. Sandable primer. All right, what I've done is I've gotten this. This is satin enamel dark brown. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this layer here with dark brown. I'm gonna kind of feather it in, and then we'll come over it with black, and we'll sand certain spots to sort of give it a little bit of the rust. This will actually look just as good as this. At least I hope it does. All right, it's tacked up, and we're going over it with this. Light, so we can feather it in. All right, we're losing light, but one of the things you can do, this is still rather somewhat tacky, is, you know, I'm trying to get as much of that dust and kind of rub it down into the paint. Now, I don't want this to look shiny. I don't want it to look good. I'm wanting all of this dust and dirt just to kind of get in on that paint. And what it's going to do is it's going to help that paint, you know, to age. And when it ages and clears, you know, I can see even now some high spots, even in this paint. But what this is going to do is just give it some kind of rough edges. And when it dries and cures, I'll be able to come in, and if you see, what I'm doing is when I'm hitting this black, you know what's coming through? I'm gonna get my other camera. But do you see that? It's sort of boogering it up a little bit, but that brown is up under it. So it's looking sort of like rust. You see what I'm saying? See all that? So it's tacky, and it's looking like rust. Now all I have to do is sort of get some wet sanding tomorrow and feather all this in. Look at that. If you're trying to booger up paint, I can do it. But this is still just nothing but dirt. And now of course, we're just hitting it in there, scratching that. You see, I got it good and scratched there. All right, scratching it right in there, buff that out. All right, need to go get some scratches and come across. If you look at all that, all of this and all of this, we want to match. So I'm gonna go get some more. Probably won't do too many circulars. Maybe I'll do some up and down, and we're gonna age that paint. All right, now what y'all think? Now, is that starting to age out well? I still need a little bit on the top. All right, now if you look at it now, just put a little bit of water up here. You can see where the paint is at here. So what I want to do is take the old SOS pad and just start rubbing it in at the top. Oh yeah. Now we got some rusty patina. Look at that. Oh my. I don't know if y'all like that. Nikki T, what do you think? You think it looks real?
Yeah, it looks good. Sorry, y'all. He got me on video looking a hot mess.
All right, there she is, somewhat dried up. Of course, that corner looks cleaner. But if you look in, I'm gonna get real close. You can kind of see the patina. Of course, I roughed it up. Of course, there was a big hole. You remember the hole was all right there. Now the hole is gone. The brown up under it is coming through like a rust pattern. This is actually sanded it down. So because this is flat, this has actually got a little shine to it, which surprised me. But it'll, when we put matte gloss over it, or not matte gloss, when we put matte flat over the whole thing, you're not going to be able to tell it. So even some of the Bondo has come through, but it sort of gives it that primer look like we have here. So I think it's fine. So friends, I think this is going to conclude this video. We're going to have, let's see, let's don't conclude yet. I'm gonna go around and show you how many more we have to fix. That'll probably be the next video. We've got to fix 1, 2, 3, and then if we come around, 3, 4, which is a big one, 5, 6, 7, 8, have 8 more holes that we have to do the same thing to. But after we get those done, come on Nikki T, after we get those done, we'll come back and we'll share that with you. Of course, I've got to go get some metal. I've got a plan to fix the holes in the bed. I want to treat the rust. Remember, we said this is going to be a channel truck. So we've got some plans for the doors. Yep. And it's going to be kind of neat. So we love y'all. We thank you for watching this episode of RevStoration. I about said something else. Of RevStoration. Ole Puddin's coming along. Me and Nikki T are enjoying it. The first drive that we take it a long ways is going to be date night. Where are we going?
Next door.
Next door. Yeah, that's about as far as it can go. Well, we thank y'all for watching. We love y'all. We appreciate you. Sub if you're not sub. We know no way of ending these videos and saying deuces. May God bless.